and welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Notimbi Fasan, aka The Rich Mogul. I'm so happy to have you guys back here, and thank you guys for watching the first introduction video. I hope you enjoyed it. Today we're quickly gonna discuss navigating relationships in your 20s. The first topic we'll be discussing today is navigating relationships in your 20s, okay? And then we're gonna break it down into 3 topics, right? So the first one is like friendship. I think like friendship is so important to me. It's like so important because through friendship I've learned like who I am, my love languages. I've learned like so many things about me that I don't think I would have learned anyway besides sisterhood. And it's like I've created this family and I've grown with these people, and it's just so amazing to have like those relationships where you can speak back and be like, oh my god, we used to speak about being the woman that we are now and like reliving that life. So that's very and extremely beautiful to have. And then secondly, it's family. I think it's very important to have a relationship with your family, especially like your close family, like your siblings and like your mom or your dad. But obviously, like growing up in South Africa, people experience like different types of childhood backgrounds, and it can be traumatizing. So for me, I've also noticed that growing up is just you also cutting some of your family members off just to maintain your peace and your mental health, especially if they're toxic for you and if they don't want to break generational curses and the things that you guys want are not aligning. Then I feel like it's fine. You can create your own family, and it can be your friends, your neighbors, etc. Just your own community that makes you feel happy and feel seen and heard and loved. So that's what I appreciate about my sisters, like my family, my godparents, my parents, my siblings, my cousins, everybody who's there for me, who's in my family and understands me and makes me feel seen as a person and just makes me want to be better. The people who are there to pick you up when you feel like you don't know who you are and you're just going through a depressive episode, or you don't recognize yourself anymore. It's important to have those people who know you and can remind you of who you are. So that's what I really appreciate about my family. And I appreciate them just like always loving me in my love language, teaching me the standards so that even when I date or even in my friendships, I don't settle anymore because I'm learning to appreciate what I have and what God has given me. And then there is romantic relationships. I feel like romantic relationships always teach me about what I like as a person. Like with my last relationship, I realized like that I need to be more present. I need to start like having more self-love and not tolerating things and not repeating cycles that I've seen or things that you think is love just because it's something that you used to. You can actually break the cycle, especially if it feels like uncomfortable and just drains you, always engaging in those type of relationships that are just constantly draining. So it's been beautiful to experience like me changing, me learning how to love myself more, me falling in love with myself again and my life again and my family and appreciating them, and seeing all of the relationships that ended, which I thought that they would last forever, but they ended. Like seeing them as lessons and like what could I have done better and not always just being the victim. And I think that was my problem before, always being the victim, always thinking that everybody's against me when actually most people were trying to help me, and then they were just fed up because you can't help somebody who doesn't want to help themselves. So it's just like realizing that and accepting that you deserve better, and it will just manifest in all parts of your life. Like when I started getting my shit together, like everything started aligning. And yeah. Okay, so we just experienced load shedding for the international for the international watchers. Load shedding is scheduled where they take away your electricity, but you pay for electricity. But in South Africa, they just take it away, and they tell us that from this time to to this time there won't be electricity. So yeah, can you? So anyways, back to relationships. Like through experiencing through experiencing umjolo, experiencing friendship, experiencing relationships with my family members, especially because family is like very important to me. Whenever like, as long as you are not in the right frame of mind as a person to accept love, you can ruin so many things. Like I've lost so many friendships, and like obviously they had to be lost, otherwise I wouldn't have learned the lesson. But then I realized that like, oh, what would have happened if I was a better person then? Or like, what if I was able to receive love then and I knew how to receive love? How would I have reacted? What would have happened now? But then there's no help crying over spilled milk, just like they'll say. If I like right as umtu, like uzumosha isn't as means because you're just not in the right frame of mind. That's why I think it's important to take care of yourself, spoil as a person, learn how to love yourself in your own love language, shop for yourself. Because the same way that like, if you told me I could be like, let's go, my son is coming, sweet your life is strong, and then they don't shop, you'll lose like, and then the same thing happens with you. If you say you're gonna exercise or you're gonna do this or you're gonna start something and then you don't do it, like you lose your trust in yourself because you're basically not showing up for yourself. That's why it's so important to shop for yourself so you can have that standard. And then they want to show you back, okay, this is that, spoiling you. It's already the standard. Alcohol, flattered, it's not like something that you're not used to. Because I feel like if I was Tandy and you don't shop for yourself, then you put yourself in a position where it's so easy for you to be vulnerable and for people to take advantage of you. And that's not what we're aiming for, because like the world is a cruel place even if you are good. That's what I realized. That's the problem with good people. It's like, there is a difference between being a good person and a people pleaser. Because I think with me, I thought I was a good person before, but I wasn't technically a bad person, but it's just like reflection. When I look back, I'm like, were you a good person or were you a people pleaser? I think I was a people pleaser, because people pleasing is when you don't understand yourself, and just because you were raised through violence and you saw abantu communicating through fighting, you think that communicating is just like fighting and then you make up or you don't talk about it. So that's not healthy communication. So I had to learn that, common sense is actually not common. You have to communicate to people how you want to feel loved and how you want them to love you. And they also have to communicate how they feel loved. So it's like a process. And if you don't tell people, then bazoyazi kanjani. So it's that type of thing, and then coming to that realization. But if I was asking, then how can you tell anybody to love you? Or if you weren't taught that, how can you even know that? That's why I think it's so important to start the journey of healing, start the journey of discovering who you are, going to therapy, especially if you have access to it, exercising, eating, taking care of yourself and stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically how I feel. I feel that like everything that I was taught growing up is a scam, because I used to think that like isn't just toxic and stuff like that is fun when it's not. Like now I just aspire for peace, aspire to be in touch with myself, like be grounded, to have a relationship with God, with my family, and healthy relationships, not toxic relationships. Because a lot of times we'll be like, it's boring, but like that's what you deserve, that's the bare minimum. So I think everybody should aspire for that. And yeah, that's what I'm trying, and it does get better, I guess. I know I used to say it doesn't get better, you do. But I think it actually does get better, like when you start getting better and realizing that you're worth it and just being delusional, like things start aligning and everything starts making sense. as soon as you start like being brave and believing in yourself, like you can always be like, oh, what if this happens? What if this goes wrong? So what if that goes wrong? But what if it actually turns out good? What if you make it? What if you're the best at what you do just because you did it and you believed in yourself? And yeah, so this is the second episode. My nerves are still extremely high, like andazi, the skin kumshe, this is but like shout out to my family, shout out to Brooks, shout out to Dorothy, shout out to everybody who's been watching, people who have been commenting and supporting. We will be dropping every Monday because I also got DMs about like, you didn't tell us when are you dropping, what date are you dropping, so we'll be dropping on every Monday. And yeah, thank you guys for holding me accountable. It will get better, I'll ease into it, and yeah, hopefully on the next episode we'll be having a guest. I think that will be easier because I like it when I'm talking with other people. But I'm just proud of myself to be doing this and facing my fears. So thank you everybody for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.